Thanks for joining us again. We're here with Dr. Blossom Amelia Nelson, and she's recounting some of her wonderful days at St. Andrew High. Blossom, I'm going to ask you about the teachers now. There must have been some who had an influence on you and who you remember well.
The teachers, their example, phenomenal. And you know, sometimes it pains my heart to hear the issues with teachers nowadays. But these persons were definitely totally committed, not only to academic excellence, but to shaping you as a person, you know, the ethics, the values, you know, your persona, your deportment. I was privileged to get the first deportment badge that was handed out by Miss Garshore. I think this is somewhere in 1957. I think I was in lower sixth. And I never could tell whether it was that she was trying to encourage me to keep my shoulders straight, because I was almost 6 feet tall, which was quite phenomenal in those days. But I got this deportment badge, which was really a leadership badge, and I have it to this day. I was also on the choir, you know, back row, of course, back row.
Yes, because you're tall.
I was quite tone deaf. I had a good voice, but I think I was tone deaf. Anyway, they managed to sort of discipline me. Yeah. Had some real great times in music class. Lovely music teacher. I remember our art teacher, Mrs. Burrows, who tried with me on my left hand and painting, you know, which she said I had some talent, but there were some, you know, things that I could improve on. I remember she tried to have me do lettering, and you don't tell a left-hander to write in the first place, because apart from the fact that you're left-handed, you're writing in the opposite direction. It really is quite chaotic. But I pride myself in that I did produce some good pieces, and even today I really honor whoever tried to teach me Latin. That was Mrs. Foster. I ended up just learning the Latin by heart and the English by heart and some keywords, and I passed high school's Latin. I can't translate it, that's the sake of my life, but you know. And someday I'll find out what these odysseys were about or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I am a living example of the success of the practical approach to studying, that if you don't understand it, learn it, you know.
Right.
But I think maybe I'm doing myself badly on that. But I did have some techniques for success. Mr. Paulson, of course, the icon, and the steward, and all of those ladies that, the value that I have got from the school, out of the school, it is so fantastic.
Any advice to girls who are now here in terms of what they should take away with them?
Girls who are at St. Andrew, I keep telling young people that if you're in a high school and a university, you're among the elite in the world. You have access to education. And education is for your personal transformation. It is not only a cafeteria style thing where you have a little of this and a little of that and a little social studies and you top it up with some English and then you put a maths in, which is like rice and peas. That's not it's your personhood, it's who you are, it's your vision, your ability your personal discipline, your focus. Some people come to school as a social club to get to know people and to meet people and to talk about boys and this and that and clothes and shopping. That is a waste of time, because the world out there is a very serious world and only the strong are going to survive. And I would say to them, use the opportunities that you have now. Focus. There's time enough for nonsense later on.
Right. And I believe your granddaughter is here now?
No, well, she had left.
Oh, right.
But I've had my aunt, Doris Taylor, was among those 1925 people.
Wonderful.
And my both sisters, Heather and Troy Nelson, came to St. Andrew High. And my daughter came to St. Andrew High, Adrian Stokes, Terry Stokes. And my granddaughter, who was Barbara Teresa Stokes. So
that's three
it's
generations.
a generational thing. And my daughter-in-law was a very achieving teacher, Michelle Stokes of blessed memory. She's an achieving teacher. She taught science.
Yes.
And you know, she was highly respected here. So St. Andrew High School it really is integral to who I am today.
Wonderful.
And you had asked at some point, you know, about choosing a career. That was the most difficult thing, because you know, you got into sixth form and you still do. Right. I wanted to do medicine, but then I figured that my left hand and the scalpel were not going to work. And I couldn't conceptualize myself with my cadaver, my own personal cadaver. I couldn't get past that. So I said medicine and veterinary science were out of it, but I got into the art side and I tried all sorts of things, you know, and up to when I left school, I don't think I'd settled on what I wanted to become. But I knew how I wanted to be. This is how I live my life. You know. I live my life as qualitative. In other words, how do you want to be? And I want to be able to express myself, to use my skills, to be in control, and to make a contribution, because service is my hallmark. So I ended up in the library service, which was my first job, which meant that I had to keep quiet, which didn't work, you know, because there was I trying to keep quiet and do cataloging, and I was just busting out all over because I need to chat and talk. So I figured that teaching, I could talk all day and get paid for it, so that worked. But then I became a missionary. I got married to a Baptist minister and went as a missionary to the Turks and Caicos Islands.
How did that work?
You know, up to today, the women's group that I started there celebrated its 50th anniversary last year. And they sent to me for a message. I thought they were going to invite me to come, but they probably thought that I was too feeble to come or something. But I sent them this lovely message, and I thought that that was such a precious thing for me. When you think of the amount of lives that it has touched and women who have been shaped over 50 years. So I left my mark, can I say, yes. From St. Andrew High School, of course.
Absolutely.
Yes, so. And I went into teaching after missionary work, I finished my degree. Because I left from, I didn't do a degree before I got married. And so I came back and did my schooling, went into teaching, and then I started postgraduate work, which took me to doctoral level. And, you know, I want to encourage all of these young people who feel this thing about common entrance, and if you don't pass it, the world has come to an end. I'm a living example of somebody who took it 3 times and didn't. My mother keeps saying, don't tell anybody, they think you're a dunce. But it's just that people have different skills and different abilities. I did a distinction doctoral studies, you know, and up to today I got compliments on it last week on the thoroughness and the rigor, the academic rigor. So it's finding your own space and having the courage to find your own sound. That is what life is.
And developing at your own pace.
Absolutely, that is what life is about. So don't let anybody discourage you, you know, and fight back. And when you fall out of the tree, you pick yourself up. You know, people say, I would never cry to make anybody. I said, I will bawl and wail on the wailing wall, and when I'm done with that, I'm good to go. You know, be authentic.
Great. So we're going to move on after this. We're going to break for a minute, and then we'll come back and talk a bit about your next phase of your career, where you moved into private and public sector. Thank you, Blossom.